All right, welcome back, guys. So here's the deal. We got our new wastegates in, and I know some of you guys don't know about these Gen 3 VS Racing wastegates yet, so I was like, I should probably just kind of show these to you guys and show you what makes them such a big deal. So here's one. You can kind of see it here. It says VS Racing on the top. They actually look really nice, like pretty good quality. They are heavy. These are 50 millimeter. I'll go into that in a second, but here's what makes them so spectacular, guys. So we've done away with the diaphragm like on your classic wastegates, and we went to a piston actuated wastegate. Let me take the springs out here. So instead of a diaphragm, we now have a piston. Supposedly this gives you better response with when you're working with boost control. It's supposed to also be better for like CO2 or onboard air boost control, which eventually, I keep saying, you guys keep telling me I need to do it, and I keep telling you I'm going to eventually. I want to play with, the compressor referenced boost control just a little while longer, because I'm a glutton for punishment. So you guys can stop telling me that. I've already said we're probably gonna go to CO2, but that's not what this video is about. Anyway, the piston style is supposed to be, it's just supposed to be better all around, guys. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, I was originally looking at some Black Sheep wastegates, Black Sheep Industries, but these guys are literally, I can't say it. They're half the price, guys. These gates for the 50 millimeter, which is what I got, they were $169 a piece, shipped from Turbos for Less, which is Varen's website, VS Racing's website, and they look really nice for what you get. So you can see you've got your piston here, and you've got your seal for your top hat, and you've got your top hat, which all the machining looks really good. It's nice and smooth inside. I didn't find any casting flash or anything. If you're seeing something that looks like bumps on the camera, it's not. This is just the oil that's in here for assembly, but it's really nice. So you look over here, you've got 4 reference ports, you've got 2 bottom ports, and you've got 2 top ports. So if you need to do a dome pressure sensor in one port, you've still got another port. Now they also give you your little nipples here, and they give you 2 extra plugs. You get, of course, the your flange here and your clamp here, and then they give you another flange and a clamp. And these clamps are way better. I'm going to show you here in a second. They're way better than the ones that I've got with my Speed Daddy gates. Now the one feature of these things that I really like, other than obviously the piston thing, but the one feature I really like is also the one feature that I really hate. And that is the fact that this top hat clamps on with a clamp. So traditionally on a wastegate, you've got all these bolts, perimeter bolts that go around, and that's what holds your lid on. And it's kind of a pain in the ass sometimes, because you've got to try to hold the lid down while you align the screws and all that. Well, with this design, you just pop the lid on and you pop your clamp around it, and then the clamp kind of holds it, while you're tightening your bolt up. The thing I don't like about this is just kind of superficial. I just don't like the way it looks. I think it makes it look cheap, but it's actually a really good feature. If you're, somebody who's going to be changing out springs a lot, if you're not using a boost controller and you just want to set pressure and you've got to change your springs out a lot, that's a really good feature, guys. It's just going to make spring changes way easier. Now, the reason I got the 50 millimeter gates is because we are going to be changing this eventually. I don't like what we did here with this long tube, and I think that might be part of what's affecting the boost control. I actually said when we first designed this turbo setup that the wastegate placement way out here might be an issue, and I really think it is. I think part of our problem is, this gate on this side, it does leak from the top to bottom. So obviously that's going to cause problems, and I think our placement's causing another problem. So for now, we're going to just put these in place of our Speed Daddy gates and try them out, see how we like it. In the future, what I plan to do is bring the gate up right off the manifold. And initially I thought maybe we'd mount it on top, but that's going to obviously cause hood clearance issues. So more than likely what's going to happen is we're going to end up probably mounting it on the side like this somehow, maybe even at an angle like this. Hell, we may just shorten this tube, cut it off about right there, and just, you know, have the gate right there, and then we just got to remake our downpipe to make sure it still comes out right here in the same spot. But for now, the reason I decided on the 50mm gate is because I'm pretty sure, see the base of this gate, it looks pretty much identical to the base of our 50mm Speed Daddy gates that we've been running for the last 2 years. So the hope here is that I will be able to just remove these gates, which we're going to try in a second, and just bolt these on, and that hopefully all of our piping and everything will align and we won't have any issues. So we can go ahead and continue to run it the way we've been running it until we can get Brad to modify our piping here and move our wastegate closer. And that might be what happens, guys. We might just put the wastegate right there like I just said. Unless we can figure out something else. I would rather just have it, even if it's a 90 degree, I would rather just have it right on the header there, the turbo header. So we'll just have to see. We've got a lot more room to work with on this side than we do over here on this side. And yeah, either way it goes, you can see I already marked it. We're going to be cutting this front part of our inner fender out anyway. So again, we'll just see what happens, guys. But for the time being, we are going to go ahead and take our old gates off. These gates come with 2 springs, and they're supposed to be, I think the smaller spring is supposed to be 4 pounds, and the larger spring is supposed to be 6 pounds. Or, you know, you can run them together, and when you get these, they do have both ends, so be aware of that. You can run them together and you should get 10 pounds of boost. Well, we want the least amount of spring pressure possible because we are using a boost controller. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the 4-pound spring and see what that gives us, because we all know 4-pound spring doesn't always give us 4 pounds. In our Speed Daddy gate over there, we're running what's supposed to be a 5-pound spring, and it's only giving us 3. Again, probably because of the gate placement and everything. So we're going to start off with our 4-pound spring and swap it out. And, you know, when we get the car ready to go again, we'll take it down the road, see what it gives us. We might end up running the 6-pound spring instead. So I'm going to go ahead and get this gate back together, get the old gate off, and we'll see for sure if these new Gen 3 VS Racing wastegates will fit directly in place of our old 50mm Speed Daddy wastegates. All right, now something else I wanted to say, a good feature of this, the way this clamps on here. An issue with the Speed Daddy gates is if you wanted your bottom port, like your top port, you could pretty much articulate anywhere you wanted, you know, with the bolts. But with the bottom port, if you wanted to move your bottom ports to a different location, you couldn't really do that without taking the entire assembly apart, and then you only had 3 possible locations because there's 3 bolts that hold the base to the center. The way this is designed, since all of the ports are technically in the top hat here, you know, you can rotate this around anywhere you want. Case in point, on this gate, I was able to make it to where you know, both of my ports were down here, aimed down at the bottom, so I was able to take my line and run it down and over. Over here, the best I could do was get it slightly over to the side, so you can see my reference lines actually smash into my inner fender here. Ideally, I would have liked to have been able to turn it just ever so much to get them to go straight down like on the other side. Well, with the new gates, that won't be a problem because I can articulate them, you know, articulate that top hat to go however I want. So. Okay, so this is where we end up getting stopped, guys. The new gate will not, it will not go on the flanges from the 50 millimeter Speed Daddy gates. There is just slightly different machining on the fire ring here. This is the fire ring that came with the VS Racing gates, and the fire ring that came with the Speed Daddy gates, you can see how it's way above this. Well, it won't fit down in here. It's actually slightly more large, the circumference of it. It's too, you know, too wide. It will not go in here. So it doesn't look like we're going to be able to try these out. We're going to have to get a hold of Brad and see when he feels like going ahead and modifying this. So for now, I'm going to put my Speed Daddy gates back on, but there you go, guys. I mean, that's the new Gen 3 VS Racing wastegates. So just know, if you're trying to do like what I'm doing, you're probably not going to be able to swap them out. And they make these in 3 different sizes. They make a 44, a 50, and a 60. And I would be willing to bet that just like this 50, even though the base looks identical to my Speed Daddy gates, it doesn't fit. So I'd be willing to bet the same probably holds true with the 44s and maybe even the 60s. So if you're running a Speed Daddy 44 or 60 or 50, just keep that in mind. If you're wanting to do like I just tried to do and do a direct swap, you're not going to be able to do it. Not a huge deal. It just means we're going to have to get a little fabrication done before we can try these guys out. Stay tuned for a future video. I will get with Brad, and as soon as we can get these bad boys on here, we'll see how they work out for us. And again, you know, because we're probably going to end up moving them closer, that might help. We might finally be able to get this boost control under control, guys. So once again, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Now get out in the garage, get something done, and I'll see you next time here on Bad Luck Garage.